A short time ago in a galaxy nearby, a podcast was made to inspire and entertain. Casual Space. Making space available, one story at a time. Your host with grace, Beth Mund.
All right, welcome to Casual Space. It's here. Finally, I get to talk to my childhood friend and now owner of a very new company he's going to tell us all about. It is an honor to see you. Kevin Rehberg, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Beth. It is incredible to see you again. It has been way too long, but it feels like it's been yesterday since we talked.
I know. And wait till everyone gets to hear a little bit about how it all got started and what you've got to offer. But really, it started way back when we were, 7, 10, 12?
Yep. Yeah, you might have been my first Star Party participant.
I think so. Well,
Yeah.
that just proves that you're the perfect person to introduce us to this. You've been this navigator of the stars your whole life.
I guess, yeah. I never really thought of it that way, but it's just a fantastic way to share this hobby with other people. But yeah, it's been, I guess, since 10 years old where we started sharing it with everybody. I love it.
I remember. All right. Well, here we go. People are going to really enjoy hearing all about your services, what you have to offer. So let's get into it.
Sounds good.
Well, Congrats. Oh my gosh, the images from the eclipse last night.
Oh yeah, those turned out amazing, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like way better than I thought they would. Yeah.
Wow.
I was thinking that was kind of like the first smart telescope lunar eclipse that we had in North America, because the last one was a couple of years ago, and smart telescopes weren't really like they aren't like they are now a couple of years ago. So this was like the first one where people had an opportunity to really point a smart telescope at an eclipse and fire away. It was so easy, Beth. Like you look at that video and you think about like what it took to make a 4,500 picture time lapse 5 years ago of overlaying everything and like having a telescope with wires and cooling elements and fans and more wires and counterweights and just the hours of setup and then the hours of post-processing to get it to that point. Beth, I pressed like 6 buttons to get it set up, went to bed, got up at like 2:30. It was still connected to my phone. So like in bed, I was able to just like roll over and look at it and be like, okay, cool. Raccoons didn't knock it over. We're good. And check the battery and went back to sleep. And at like 2:30, I went out there just to kind of watch the totality. And then I swapped out external battery to keep it going because it was a 6-hour process of pictures. And then I just woke up at like 6 o'clock when it ended and went out there and turned it off. And then I still had an hour of darkness. And then I pointed it at like 15 more things.
Wow. Okay. What is a smart telescope?
A smart telescope it's different from an optical telescope. Optical telescope, it's kind of one at a time. You look through it and your eyeball sees, however big the telescope is, it will jam as much light into your eyeball as it can. But eyeballs, even in a giant like Dobsonian big telescope, the kind that you need like a step ladder to get up to, you need dark skies, you need like no moon, you need even with that, you're still not the human eye isn't really adapted to see like a lot of detail in space. It's great. We can see a lot of detail on the moon, we can see a lot of detail on the planets, but once we get outside the solar system, you're kind of looking at faint fuzzies and just kind of different flavors of faint fuzzies, even like the greatest hits. Now, so that's what a smart telescope isn't. What a smart telescope is it's essentially it's a giant camera, really, but it's a camera that is completely connected internally with a computer and Bluetooth, so that multiple people at a time can pull out their devices, their phones, and they can connect to it and they can see what's streaming through that telescope. So the telescope will point itself at objects. The number one complaint when people get a beginner telescope is like, we set it up in the driveway, the kids were super excited, it was Christmas night, and we couldn't find a thing. It just didn't, and then it just sits in the closet and it never gets used again.
That's true.
Yeah. These smart telescopes, their GPS is so precise, and because of your phone too, it knows exactly where you are, and it knows exactly kind of where it's pointed. You have to do a little bit of calibration to it to balance to level it and to make sure that it knows exactly where it is, but it's minimal, very minimal. And then it just knows how to like point itself around the sky from there. And not only that, it gives you a list of like, okay, these are the best things in the sky tonight, right now. Look at these things.
Why would a smart telescope be able to see beyond the light of the moon and the fuzziness of the Earth than a regular telescope?
That's a great question. You should be like a podcaster or something.
Oh, hey,
Like
hey. Okay.
so what the so even small, like the smart telescope looks small, from it looks a little underwhelming if you look at it, but what it can do is it accumulates light as it goes. So there's no there are some smart telescopes that have eyepieces. I'll throw air quotes around it because they're not traditional eyepieces, but we'll put that to the side for now. The smart telescope doesn't have a traditional eyepiece. You hook up your phone to it or some type of screen to it, and you watch as the telescope accumulates light. So what it does, like the telescope I used last night for the moon, now it didn't do it for the moon because the moon's so bright, but like for the nebulas that I did after that, it will take 10-second exposure after 10-second exposure after 10-second exposure, and it'll pile it on top of each other. It'll line it up perfectly, so everything lines up, every star is lined right up on top of each other. Even as it rotates around the sky, it knows how to kind of counteract, for the most part, counteract that. And as it stacks each of those things on top of one another, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And it does it very quickly, too. So in a matter of like 3 or 4 minutes, you're seeing details in a nebula that you would need like a Mount Wilson Observatory type telescope to see.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it's incredible. It really is. And these telescopes know that, so the one that I used on the moon too, it has a light pollution filter in it, and it has well, it's a nebula filter. So it'll know like the objects that will benefit from having a filter in front of it, and it'll just plop the filter in front of the
Built
view. And
in.
then, yeah, built in, and then it gets rid of all the street lights. It helps a little bit with the moon, and then you're able to get pictures of nebulas with a full moon in the backyard of I live in a very suburban. There are 2,500 houses in this neighborhood. There's a lot of light here, and Tampa, there's a lot of light too, and these things cut right through it like a knife.
Wow.
It's
That's
so
amazing. Uh, it knows your location? You said GPS, but it knows the filters and all that's built in. But you said
Yeah.
something about your phone. Is your phone the computer or is the computer in the telescope?
The computer's in the telescope. Your phone is just kind of like watching, so you can walk
Oh.
away, and it's almost like again the one that I was using yesterday. It has a plan mode where I could just set it outside, get it set up, and I could just earlier that day I can say, okay, at 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you're gonna go look at this cluster, and then from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, you're gonna look at this. Then you're gonna take a little break because there's nothing, and then you'll go, and it'll just go and it'll hop around and it'll do whatever you tell it to do until it's either done or it runs out of batteries.
Wow. Okay, batteries. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Batteries.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
nice big battery inside it. There's a ton of storage inside it because storage is so much cheaper now. This is kind of like the confluence of like technology getting way better with AI and the price of things coming way down.
What kind of storage?
It's
SD cards?
no, it's not even that. It's internal storage, and it's got I don't even know how many gigs the C Star. The first one that I got that I've been using a lot, I'm maybe, and I've been using it a ton, Beth, and I'm maybe like 25% of its storage capacity for it. it so I mean, it's so much that I don't even know what it is.
So are you an astrophotographer? Are you an astrovideographer? Or are you a
I guess, I mean, by accident, I saw, I saw the Sea Star come out, and I was like, this thing looks amazing. And it turns hobbyists like myself or you or anyone or a kid who's 10 years old and just wants to figure out the night sky. It does turn them into an astrophotographer. It turns them into, it gives them the ability to take pictures that would take 5 years to learn how to do it, and thousands of dollars of equipment to figure it out, and trial and error out the wazoo.
And location
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yes.
Because a lot of kids are like, well, I live in the city, I don't live in the country, I can't see
Yep.
it. Wow. Okay. Range wise, price wise, I'm just curious. Anywhere
Yeah.
between like 1,200 to 5 grand, or are we talking less, more?
You're
What's the
pretty close. I have kind of like I have the gamut. I have kind of like one of the less expensive ones, the Sea Star, which I used last night, which is the absolute workhorse. That is it's a steal at $500. $500 out the door.
I wasn't expecting that.
$500, no subscription, nothing. That you don't even have to register an email address to start using it. It's a feature packed. It's an animal. The only thing it can't do really well that people want it to do well is it's on planets.
Oh,
It can't do planets real well, but that's just the physics of it because it's a tiny, it's small, and it's not like the physics of it don't lend itself well to get a really detailed picture of Jupiter or Saturn or Mars. So that one's $500, and then the other smart telescope that ClearSky uses, we have an equipment partnership with Unistellar. They have sort of, I would call it the Lamborghini of smart telescopes. This thing is like the ultimate showstopper. That one's $4,000 before you get like a backpack to it or a solar filter or anything like that. So it's pricey for sure, but it has something that no other smart telescope line in the market has. Unistellar put an eyepiece in their smart telescopes because that's something that people want. That's like a traditional. That's something that they
yeah.
do. So they kind of solve for that because there's no optical way to look through a smart telescope. They partnered with Nikon and they created an eyepiece. It's a OLED screen that is behind the eyepiece, and you look through it and you swear you're looking through an eyepiece, and it looks like 3D. It's
I think I
incredible.
saw that on your post, right? On Facebook.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
what I saw.
Yep.
That's the Unistellar
Yep.
brand.
The
Oh,
Unistellar Odyssey Pro is
okay.
yeah, and that one, they all focus themselves, which is fantastic because focusing is like a huge problem for everyone has a little different eyeball prescription. So like the optical telescope, like I have behind me, which is observatory grade, awesome telescope. But that one you have to my focus is here, your focus is here, and it's kind of hard if you're talking to someone casually or a 10-year-old feather this knob. Good luck telling a 10-year-old to like move it a little bit. The thing is going to be like blown out.
No, it's more like, don't touch it. Be careful. I'll
Yeah,
touch it. Can you see it? And they
it's a
say
lot.
yes, but it's all blurry. And you're like, well, you can't see that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it. I get
yeah.
it.
Or they say, yeah, I see it, and they're looking through the closed eye and the open eye, looking out, into nothing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
15 seconds on the website, seeing what it does more than me talking for 5 minutes about it.
Yeah. Well, what
So
is the website?
the website is clearsky.events.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to thank me. The thanks goes right back to you because if anyone's ever heard me speak on the main stage or anywhere else, pretty much, my keynote starts with you. It starts
Does
with
it really?
yeah, 1984 in the backyard looking at
Yeah.
Halley's Comet. And then
Yeah.
it sparked my interest for my career and everything that launched from there, where I said, you and I were, out there with your Kmart telescope that you
Oh,
got.
so bad.
And then when we saw it, though, it just blew me away because I'm like, wait a minute, it's not a star, it's not a planet. What is it? And then I just kept asking questions and asking more questions that led to all the things I needed to know about space that led to an interest in space. And then it landed. But it's moments like
Yeah.
that, you never know, but it's because of looking through the telescope.
Oh my gosh. I figured that had something to do. I didn't know that it was to that extent though. That means a lot to me. It really does.
Oh, you just ask anyone. It all starts, everyone hears your name, Kevin Rehberg. It starts in 1984. I was outside one night. I think we were throwing rocks up in the sky to get the bats while we were hanging around
Oh yeah, yeah.
and
That sounds about right.
trying
Yeah.
to find them. And,
Our
you know,
neighborhood was lousy with bats. It had bats like every night.
but that was part of the fun for us.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, it's true. So many people that come on the show and so many people I talk to, and in general, life is changed when they look through a telescope. I don't have to tell you this. You know this. And it's
Yes.
obviously been like that for you. But when you see that in a little kid's experience or their eyes or their breath gets taken aback, and you just opened the door to something. It's a real gift to see and witness that moment.
Absolutely. It's my favorite part of the hobby. It's what led to starting the company because like using that telescope behind me, like my favorite thing to do is not driving out 4 hours into the pitch black and setting up and using dim red light and trying to get the farthest thing I can find. Set up in the driveway, bathed in street lights, and just as people walk by, that of course you see something like that, you're like, what's that? What are you looking at? And they, oh, come take a look. It's Saturn. And they're like, oh my God, you can see the rings. You get accused of well, now it's AI, but before it was you have a slide in front of the telescope. That was the number one thing you'd hear from it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What else can you see? Can you see Russia from your backyard? I'm just kidding. I'm just
Yes. You bounce it off of the International Space Station solar panels and you get a reflection of it. Yeah.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Do you get to see, now you're in Tampa, so you don't really get to see the launches, but do you go ever and go see some?
No, Beth, we can see them. Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Right from the front yard. It takes about a 30 Mississippi for it to get high enough, but
Okay.
that it's plain as day. You see it. You see the rocket trail behind it. You see when they decouple, and and it goes kind of dark for a minute, and then it lights the candle again and keeps going. Like you can see all that from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be there right now. As a matter of fact,
Oh,
I got a press pass for Crew 10,
uh,
and I'm sorry it got scrubbed, but I'm also grateful because I made the tough decision. This has never happened in the history of me working at NASA or ever NASA, anything I've ever known, where they gave a date and it said NET, no earlier than, and it was March 25th. So I had plenty of time to get my tickets, my arrangements, and the whole thing. And then
yeah.
it moved up, and then now it's scrubbed. So
Yeah.
it's just all fluid. We know why, but it's a little tricky this launch. So I'm glad you get to see them. Have you seen yet a star, um, not a Starlink, down in Copa Chica? Have you seen one of those? Starship. Can't
Oh,
me.
no,
Me
haven't seen one.
neither. I've never seen a launch, but I did see a Falcon Heavy. Have you seen one of those?
No, that would be amazing.
Go if you can.
You
It's
feel it, right? Like you feel it.
well, it's so yeah, seeing those rocket boosters come back and land perfectly, it's unbelievable. And yes, you feel it. And it's the biggest rocket right now next to Starship. So at least that's there in Florida. But I think Starship is, Texas for now. We'll
Yeah,
see. They're having some problems, getting them some of the debris from some of the failed, unfortunate mishaps. But that's how you learn. People forget. You've seen those reels where it's like, fail after fail after fail
oh
of the
yeah,
Falcon. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly it. That's how you learn. It's kind of it's frustrating it's frustrating for me. I can't imagine what it's like for you when you see the public push back on space exploration from because there was a failure or an explosion, and they know it's almost like they know that this is trial and error and they're figuring it out, but they just they need to change their state of mind on it because
Yeah.
it's
The
amazing.
public.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
The NASA Space Shuttle program had a 2% default or fault rate, and that's exactly what happened. There was over 100 plus flights, I'm thinking, and 2% were failures. That's exactly what was statistically projected to happen, and that's exactly what happened. So it's kind of right there. Things have to fail.
and 2% is extraordinarily low for something like that. Like I can't, I have a higher failure rate at the self checkout at the grocery store, like way higher than that. And that's like no moving parts. That's just the barcode and some dog food.
I know, right?
Yeah,
The girls will do it. They'll show you
yeah,
how you're doing it wrong.
yeah. Yeah. It stops working, and then you do that helpless thing where you just spin around and you leave an employee that may or may not be there.
I know, I
Yeah.
know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about you have like elevated star parties. I feel like since we're kind
I
of
hope
like,
so.
oh my gosh. Okay, two big questions.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me, walk me through what a star party is for you now, because star party used to mean schlep all your gear, put it out into the field, hope the
Yeah.
weather allows, everyone get it out of the back of their trunks. And then you had numerous, which I love, don't get me wrong, like a number of astronomers that would be
Oh
like,
yeah.
peacocking their equipment, right? Look at
Yeah.
mine, look at
Yeah.
that. Do you have a filter for that? Do you have the SP 2700? And you're like, it's all good. It's
Uh-huh.
all good. Those are fun. Don't get me wrong. But now you had a star party at a poolside, like poolside outside.
Yep. Yeah, I was launching the company, and I needed sort of the vision for what it is. So I needed to, you have to kind of shoot the vision before you get a client, So I had all my friends. I called them up and I said, hey, I have this kind of like fun thing that I think you might be interested in. Come to my buddy's backyard. He lives a couple doors down. We're all friends. We're all neighbors, and get really dressed up, and I'll bring the wine and champagne and bourbon, and just hang out and have a party, and interact with my setup, and I'll just take videos and pictures of it, and that's going to be the content for it, and that's the vision, and you're right, Beth. It is like it, a traditional star party is it can be kind of intimidating for a lot of people, because especially like if you have little kids, or just even if you're walking by, because you are nailed it right on the head. There's wires everywhere. Everything's dim red lights. You're not allowed to use your headlights driving in. It's and yeah, there's step ladders to things. You don't know where the eyepiece is, and
Right?
don't touch that. And
Yeah,
uh,
true. It's true.
and again, agree with you too. Don't get me wrong. Love them. I love a traditional star party where you look through the eyepiece and stuff. But even the traditional star parties are getting taken over by more and more smart telescopes too. Um, but what ClearSky Events does is, we take the sort of the minimalist elegance of a new smart telescope. Not no wires really, no need to plug anything in outside of just the power source that comes from it, and the optical telescope behind me. And a typical setup is three telescopes, two smart telescopes, and the optical telescope here. Because like I said, those smart telescopes are a little lacking in the planetary and lunar viewing. So the big telescope back there, number one, it gives people like the traditional experience that they're used to, and number two, then it gives them a chance to see the polar ice cap on Mars with their naked eye, or
Wow.
surface. They could kind of see surface feature on Mars with it. So it checks that box. But then the smart telescopes are like the showstoppers, because I have QR codes so that the people can just kind of walk up, and you can see the base of the tripod. I put some nice, like, linen on that, and then I use some subtle LED lighting underneath it. Number one, that keeps people from kicking it and tripping over it, and
Nice.
but it also looks really nice, and that way it kind of fits in at any type of occasion. And then I just hide whatever wires or anything I need under the tripod. But and then I attach a tablet to each of the two smart telescopes, so that's streaming. So you can just walk into it, and you don't have to download any apps or anything. You can just like walk in and see, oh my gosh, that's the Great Orion Nebula, and look at all that detail, and I look at the color in it, look at how orange that is. Or they can go up to the Odyssey Pro, and they can see Jupiter's red spot through it. The Odyssey Pro is excellent on Jupiter, by the way, and the Moon.
Wow.
Or they can look through the eyepiece, but they can see on the tablets what it's like. And then I think the coolest thing about these smart telescopes is they were smart enough to know that this can be a much more communal gathering. So like the Odyssey Pro, 10 people at a time can connect their devices to the Odyssey Pro, see the same thing, and they can take pictures whenever they want. Like they can kind of wait a little bit, let the picture develop a little bit more, take a picture, and it goes right on their phone. And then they could leave that party, wherever we're set up, and now they have their normal party pictures and their photo booth pictures, but then they also have a picture of a galaxy. They have a detailed picture of a galaxy 80 million light years away
On their phone.
on their phone. Yeah.
Okay, so two questions. The first one is I do want to expand upon, well, first of all, you're a very nice neighbor. come to my party and let me show you the world, literally the universe. That's so nice. You have nice friends. And
Yeah,
also,
I
so
do.
what was their reaction? Like walk me through how they like how much time was spent at each device on average? What was their reaction? Did it get them talking? And then did you find yourself like engaging with questions about how many astronomical units away is this? And where is this in our neighborhood or beyond? And then my second question is, did you find Unistellar or did they solicit you? I would love to hear about that partnership.
Yes, yes. All right. So the first question I think is better answered by, not so much what my friends thought about it, because, your friends are kind of like a biased filter with this. They
Sure.
could, like I kind of started setting stuff up and I started letting them know, hey, I think this could be like an actual, like this, I think this could be a company. And then I tell them, I've used every AI tool, Google, there are no other companies like this, which is either like usually a really good sign or a really bad sign. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
And I would explain to them, hey, come over, check this out, and of course their doors were blown off like almost everyone else that looks through the setup like that. But they're friends, so you don't know exactly. I don't know how much of it is just them being nice and humoring me in my passions, or how much of it they actually mean. So what I did, Beth, is I set up once I had all the equipment and everything finally got delivered, and I got the chalkboard ready and everything. Um, the Star Bar, which I love. I love calling it
I
the
love
Star
that too. Did they knew they were coming to a star party or was it just a
Bar.
party? Oh, by the way. Okay, good, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they knew they were coming to just kind of like a gathering and check it out kind of thing. And they did it multiple times just because I wanted to kind of like slowly kind of bring it out and bring more people into it. But the ultimate test for it was once I had everything ready, I so like I mentioned, this is a neighborhood with I don't know 2,300 homes in it. Like seriously, not even exaggerating. It's a very involved community. A lot of it's like St. Charles in a lot of ways. It's
Mhm.
exactly like St. Charles. Like this is like the Tampa version of like a Naperville, Batavia, St. Charles.
Nice, nice.
Um, so the day so I set up a pop-up event in the park, the main park in the middle of the neighborhood, and I didn't want it to. I wanted to see how many people would come. I wanted to give it enough notice, but I didn't want to give it like 2 weeks notice and then end up with like throngs of people. So I gave it like 4 hours notice, and I put it on our neighborhood Facebook page. I said, hey, planetary alignment thing is happening. Come on out and take a look through the telescopes. I was hoping for 30 to 40 people to come to this because there really wasn't a lot of, like I said, there wasn't any notice. Beth, we got over 300 people at this thing.
See,
Over
the
300.
need and the desire is there. And right
Yeah,
in the park for free? Was it
yeah.
free?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It was free. It was just like come drop in, check it out. So it was like for me, that was number one. I wanted to see what the wantedness of this was, what the reaction was of people who didn't know me. And then two, I wanted to kind of stress test the setup too. I wanted to see, okay, are three telescopes enough? Are they too much for me to kind of handle everything? And so and with kids kind of running around, let's see what it does and how it works. Worked great. It was without a hitch. It went great. It went like way longer than I had to. The sprinklers are set for 11 o'clock in the park. I had to like get the stuff on because it was like time to go. They were about
Yeah.
to get like sprayed. So that
Wow.
was like, so that was the stress test for it. That was when I knew after that was done, then I was like, okay, this is like the number one way I knew that it was going to be good, or that I think I was onto something. The number of people, Beth, that walked, they were just like walking their dog. And then they got in line and they went through it and they grabbed me and they're like, how much longer are you going to be here? I got to go
Uh-huh.
home. I got to get my
Yep.
neighbor, I got to go get my husband. He's in there. I'm going to go
Yes.
grab the kids. Like, and we had dozens of people that came that like, that, were home. Someone went and got them and came back to check it out. And you know how hard it is. Like if you're at home on Friday at 9 o'clock at night and you're on the couch watching TV, I
Yeah.
don't get off that couch for anything.
It depends what the show is. Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. So how hard was it if it was local park, but in the future and for your future events, as people find you and they're going to want you to host, how mobile and easy is it? Is it one trunk ride of equipment? Is
Oh
it
yeah.
renting a U-Haul and then getting set up or what? How easy?
So for the neighborhood event, I put everything in my golf cart. Everything fit in the golf cart. One trip. So it's that easy. And it's all, like I said, it's cord free. So we could set up anywhere. The goal is if you're having an indoor outdoor wedding and you're having like one of those beautiful, like rustic barn type weddings, people invariably over the course of the night, they go outside, and they have a cocktail outside and they just enjoy, and they'll always look up and be like, oh my God, it's beautiful. And it just kind of ends there. This is the
Yeah.
opportunity to take it like 100 steps beyond, oh, hey, it's nice out. This is
I
the chance.
have so many ideas for you, Kevin. I'm
I know.
talking corporate, like you could just be a
Yeah.
regular. People love star parties, don't get me wrong. And like privately, it would be beautiful to end the wedding with the star party and have that extra bonus and so special. And, corporate, they have gatherings all the time where you got to go to that networking function at 5 to 7, and then you don't know anyone. But look what could bring everyone together and really set the tone for inspiration and then further communication. Because I don't
Yeah.
know, there's no politics. Everyone can agree that looking through the image is
Yeah.
amazing. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's like for court, because I go to a ton of those too for my career. And it's you almost get trapped in the same type of conversation and conversation. Where are you from?
What do
Where
you
you
do?
fly in?
Right.
How long you're staying. And this gives you like something that I guarantee you've never talked about before. Like, what did you get a picture of? Oh, I got the red spot and a shadow transit on Jupiter. What did you get? I got the Bode's galaxy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's way better than when did you fly in?
Right? It must be hard for you though. Once you get it all set up, it sounds like it runs itself. And then people can, like just enjoy it and appreciate it and view it and come and go and step in and out of it.
Yeah,
That's really nice. But
yeah,
do you find yourself needing to walk them through what they're seeing, like a little bit of explanation and education, and that takes time, right? Like if you give 5 minutes to every person who asks the same question, like, what am I looking at? Where is this in the universe? How do you know that's there? What's going on? That's a little bit of time. Are you
yeah.
stressed that you got to run between images and do that part of the, no?
No, I mean,
Don't tell me it's on the phone. It's already on the image.
well, yeah, for the Unistellar app, while it's moving to the target, it will give you factoids about it the whole way while it's going.
So
So
this sounds like when you take your phone and you point it to the constellation that night, and then it's
yeah,
all right there. It's like that, but on the telescope.
yeah, it's really kind of an
Wow.
evolution of that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and the
But I know
Unistellar.
you, and I know you still run around with your big smile going, that's what this is. This is over there.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah,
whatever nebula. Yeah. That's
yeah.
part of the fun.
Yeah, I mean these events when I'm talking to people, and they go by so quickly, and they're so fast, and the questions they ask are, they're I'm not an astronomer by trade by any means, but
Yes, you are.
they're not asking how fast is that star moving, or when is it going to explode. It's just kind of like, how far away is it? That's the number one question, is like, how far away is that? And then kind of, that's really like far and away the number one question. How far away is it? Which is a great question to ask, because I mean,
Yeah.
the light that they're looking at, like I said, it's 40,000 light years away, or up to 80 million light years away.
So how is it working with Unistellar? Are you partnering? Are they sponsoring? Are you in a contract? Do you have their equipment? How did it all start?
That one, it was sort of serendipity. I got the idea for the company, incorporated, and I started thinking, okay, like blue sky, if this like really takes off, uh, these telescope companies, I imagine, would want to, be a part of it, or have some type of presence in it. Just like thinking like big picture. Unistellar was the first company I reached out to. I just said, hey, I have this idea for a company. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to appoint the telescopes. Your telescopes are beautiful right out of the box. Plus, what I'm going to do to them and the way I want to sort of showcase them, it's a perfect fit. And then I explained how I want to take them to, I want this to be kind of like a 5-star like resort on the beach, wedding receptions, corporate events, that kind of thing. And it just so happened that Unistellar was rolling out their own subscription service that was basically servicing the same, that had the same idea.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so Unistellar has a program where these 5-star resorts, they're already into, they have a few in Silicon Valley, which is where they're based, but they also have like super high-end luxury resorts that are clients in the Maldives and places like that. and maybe Bali, I don't know, but they're getting very high end because these telescopes can almost run themselves. So they sell telescope subscriptions into these resorts for $250 a month, and then which is nothing for a
Like for a
five-star
resort.
resort.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they the resorts can use them a few different ways. They can either appoint their nicest rooms. They could just kind of put it in the balcony area, and just say like, this is yours to use, in the middle of the night when it's beautiful. You're on the ocean or whatever. Have at it. They'll keep it at the desk, and the guests can request it as they want, or they can use it as a revenue stream, and they can rent it out, as an additional, however much
Sure.
however much per night to use it. So they knew that kind of like we were gonna be going after the same type of market for it. So they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, we have from demos from when we rolled out the Odyssey Pro, we have a telescope here. We'd love to send to you so that you could get started with it. So the $4,000 telescope, you could get going with it, and let's see where it goes. And when you get in at these hotels and resorts, tell them about Unistellar, tell them about the subscription service that they have, and then it helps everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it came about. It was definitely serendipity.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Do you travel outside of Florida?
We will, yeah. I mean, yeah, we will if the if the price is
Okay.
right, we'll go anywhere.
All
Yeah.
right. You
it's
heard
it's
it.
not that hard to travel with these things, and I'm a seasoned traveler just from my career. So it's this thing would definitely be the biggest concern, but that's easy enough to pack up gently.
Okay. Well, this is going to be so much fun. People everywhere are going to want to know where they can contact you and host their own incredible event with you. Where can they find you?
We hope so. Yeah, you can find us. You can find ClearSky Events at clearsky.events. It's that simple.
And they can do this as soon as tomorrow?
Oh yeah, yeah. The company just launched, so we're starting to fill up. We actually just got a country club company that has golf courses, private country clubs, 30 of them all over the country. They reached out to me this afternoon, so I think things are going to start filling up quickly here. But reach out, let's talk.
All right. What a great deal. Put me on that list, Kevin.
I will for sure.
Okay. It's totally worth the flight. I'm coming. All right, everyone. Kevin, it has been such a joy catching up with you, and I cannot wait to
Likewise.
see one of these beautiful parties and events, hopefully very, very soon. Everyone, you need to get him booked ASAP.
I
Kevin
want everyone to
Rehberg,
see it. Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll see you next time. Come back on the show and tell us how it's going.
Thank you for having me, Beth. I appreciate it.